Hey guys, what's up? It's Resurgence YGO back at it again with your boy Michael Sarkis, who just got top 16, I believe, at the Salem Yu-Gi-Oh with, you guessed it, Mermails. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Sarkis.
What's up, y'all? What it do? It's Michael. I'm back again about a 1-year anniversary for the very first video ever posted on this channel, which was my deck profile back when I went to Salem, Oregon. I played Mermails and I got 3rd place, and now we're back about 1 year later. I'm playing Mermails at Salem Regionals and I got 14th place. So not as good as last time, but you know what? We still take it. I finally got my invite for the season, and honestly, I'm really shocked for it. I'm really excited about it, and it was really hype. If I'm being real, I don't really feel like I deserve this top and this invite that much. I've kind of been, just some background, I've been away from the game for about 9 to 10 months, give or take. So I'm still kind of learning about the meta. About 2 weeks prior to this regional, I messaged some friends, got together, and I came to a decision that I wanted to get back into the competitive scene. So with that, and with the fact that I'm going to YCS Vegas for the 3v3, shout out to Alan behind the camera as well as Grant, my teammates there, I wanted to take the game seriously. So I've been kind of grinding for about 2 weeks, play testing, trying to learn the meta as best as I can, and this was a result of it. It doesn't really feel like it was super deserving because I'm still learning the meta to this day. I'm still learning what a lot of cards do and what to look out for, but I know Mermails a lot. I've been playing this deck for about 13, 14 years, so it's my favorite deck of all time, and I'm really excited to show you guys what we got.
All right, let's get into the deck.
All right, so starting off, we got 3 Abyssius, 2 Bispike, 3 Abyss Rhine, and then 3 Shadow Squad. Let me get these out the way. So this is a pretty standard lineup. With this is just not much to be said. I know about a year ago when I did play this deck, it still played the Bahamut and the Toad engine. So you did play 3 Pike, but nowadays, unfortunately, my beloved Bahamut is no longer a thing. So the end boards for this deck are completely different. And that was something that I had a really big time trying to adjust to. The lines for this deck honestly really revolve around Ryan a lot. This card is the best card to play around Droll. It plays around a lot of hand traps. It forces out your level 7s, as well as like your main starting combo. One thing I don't really enjoy about Mermails nowadays is because you don't have access to Bahamut and Toad, and you don't really have a rank 4 access at all to detach Dragoons and kind of use Dragoons like 6, 7, 8, 9 times in a turn, right? You're forced to play in a way that I dislike immensely, right? You have to play the Barrier Statue lock, right? Barrier Statue is banned, so you play the Turtle, and it's just something I'm just not a fan of. But in order to play the deck that I was born to play and that I love, you have to do things that can compete with the meta. So unfortunately, you have to play this type of engine for it. Even though this is standard, you don't play the 3 Pike and you play the 2. Still very good, but yeah, love these cards, and I don't know if I would change this lineup specifically, so this was solid. All right, then we got 3 Neptibus, the Prince himself. Best card in the deck, still one of the best normal summons in the game. 1 Infantry, and then 3 Dragoons. This is all very standard. Infantry is really insane in this deck, especially with how it's played, because when you summon your turtle, you make it untargetable with a Link Neptibus, and then you have an infantry in hand to just, in case someone is going to run it over, you can always pop it. So it protects your lock, it makes it so you can have interaction on your opponent's turn, as well as with the level 7 Poseidra, the best going second card in the game. This card is just so nuts. Being able to summon this on your opponent's turn off a Neptibus discard, sending an infantry to bounce one and then pop another. It's just such a unique way to play the game, and it really feels amazing. Seeing a lot of lists online, since I haven't really been playing, again, I haven't been playing the game for the past year or so. So seeing what a lot of topping Mermail lists have been doing for the past couple months, especially the ones that are overseas at Dortmund and some other YCSs as well, I've been seeing a lot of people play 3 of this. And for me, I'm just not a big fan of it. The way I wanted to build this deck is really focusing on consistency. Really wanting to make sure that I don't lose to myself, right? I don't want to draw a hand where I just can't play. I don't have a starter. I don't have any combo pieces. And just being, past turn with maybe a hand trap or 2 and praying. So Poseidra is just one of those cards where if you open it going first, it's kind of like a pre-negated Teus, and that's just what feels bad because Teus probably gets hand trapped anyway. So being able to play 2 makes it still consistent enough where you sometimes draw it going second, but it's still somehow, it just evens out where a way that you don't draw it too much going first, and if you do, you can still sometimes make a little combo with it. One of my favorite things to do is when I do have like a Shadow Squad and a Dragoons in hand as an opener, you go Shadow Squad, discard to make it a level 7, discard the Dragoons, add the Poseidra, pitch the squad, and then you summon Neptibus off the squad. So it still has some utility going first, not much, but it's still relevant. And then sometimes when you open a very explosive hand, you can search the Poseidra during your first turn combo, send it to grave, which also allows you to eventually add a Neptibus to also use this type of combo going first against your opponent. And then you still have a second one in your deck. So it's not the worst in the world if you do open it, but man, playing 2 is just it just feels great. It just feels great. So yeah, so that's all the Mermail Atlanteans in the main. Going for the rest of the waters, we got 1 Deep Sea Minstrel, 1 Coelacanth. So for here, back when we did this profile about a year ago, I stated that I had a hate-hate relationship with Minstrel, and honestly I still do, but there's a little more love this time. So Minstrel is just one of those cards that if every deck had an in-archetype version of this, I think Yu-Gi-Oh would kind of be in a way worse shape than it already is. Being able to look at your opponent's hand, take out the worst card, and then eventually summoning a Molan Glacia to discard 2 of their best cards is just still insane. You only play 1 though, because I do side the other one, but it is a very, very hard brick. This deck plays a lot more cards that want to discard cards than want to be discarded, so this doesn't really get you anywhere outside of being used within the combo. Glacia is Glacia. I also saw some lists that were taking this card out, and I'm not really too sure why. Being able to discard 2 cards from your opponent's hand, getting the extra body on the board to kind of make an XYZ with and a rank 7 with is just insane, so I don't think I'll ever cut this. And then Coelacanth. With this deck focusing on consistency, I wanted to really cut all the excess cards that I felt were really unnecessary. Also that I think are just trash. So a lot of lists online, I saw playing cards like Butterfly Fish or like the Fishboard package or just like anything that helps support this card, especially Beautiful Princess, which I did test for a little bit. And even though I've only tested for about 2 weeks, I still felt like they just weren't good enough. So instead I decided to only play Greethus, the level 3, as my only fish target, and this felt great. So the Greethus with the 2 Abyss Pikes is really all you really need to kind of go into the full combo, and that's all I really liked. So you really minimize on your bricks. I found a way through just like some testing. I just like sat for a day for a couple hours just like playing through cards, and I realized I just didn't need the extra body to summon off Coelacanth in order to go into like your untargetable turtle with a draw 2 and just a pop 1 and here and there. So minimizing all these bricks really made this feel incredible, and I really liked it. And then last but not least, I hate this card. I hate playing this card. I don't have fun playing it. Nobody has fun playing against it, but you got to do what you got to do to compete. The turtle, right? So neither player can special summon monsters 1800 or more attack. It's gimmicky, it feels bad, but if you summon it, if I summoned it at regionals, I didn't lose a single game, and you know what? That's a pretty good feeling. I really hope Konami brings back Bahamut Shark so I don't have to play this, and if they ban it, I don't care, because I don't like it anyway, so that works. So yeah, so that's the entire main. A lot of monsters, and that's kind of just how Mermail plays. So yeah, so now let's get on to spells. Alright, now let's get on to hand traps. So for our hand traps, we got 3 Ultrami Pulos, we got 3 Perulia. I know some people are citing Perulia instead of maining it, but in this deck it is a utility piece since it is a water card. So you can discard it off Teus or off Minstrel, and it just kind of helps you play the game. And also being able to put your opponent on a half board while you go second is incredible. So these felt great, and I probably wouldn't change these at all. The rest of the hand traps, we got 3 Ash, 3 Impulse, and then 3 Imprint. These cards are just like generically good. I haven't really done a lot of testing going into this event, so I know last year I played Droll in the main, and I'm a really big fan of playing hand traps that just end your opponent's turn. So I think with some more testing, I probably will find a way to put Droll in and maybe taking a less impactful hand trap out. But for now, the 3 Ash, 3 Imprim, they did well. Ash was great going first. Imprim is just a great card to side out. Since this deck does have an issue siding things in and out, I'm only on 40 cards. So I'm not playing cards that, again, that I didn't deem as consistent. So being able to just have an easy side deck card out was really good. And then, yeah, so speaking on that, just some last things to note for the main deck. I didn't play First Penguin. First Penguin was a card that I saw in pretty much every Mermail list, and it seemed really good, but when I was playing it and testing, it just seemed really, really bricky. It just seems like a very redundant card. It does allow you to add a Dragoons or add a Teus, but if your first action in this deck isn't adding Abyss Rhine, you're probably going to get drolled, and you probably already lost the game at that point. So almost every single time I played this, my first turn involved me adding Rhine as my very first piece of interaction, and it allowed me just to play through so many hand traps. So First Penguin was cool. Maybe in more testing, maybe I'll see if I'll put it back into the deck, but until then, I didn't really like it, and I really wanted to stick to 40 for consistency. So yeah, so this is the extra deck now. We got XYZ's, Abyss Gaios, Trite, Poseidra, and Lavirtue. So very standard lineup, not much needs to be said. You got the Gaios that you end your first turn with, a little bit of skill drain action just to prevent them from breaking your lock. Poseidra, you use it more so as a soul charge. It's also another one of the best going second cards in the game. If I summon a Poseidra and it resolves, I'm probably winning. And then you use Lavirtue in your combo to kind of add back Dragoons to get even more advantage. For the links, we got Anemone, Lachia, Neptibus, and this thing. So I never used this card. I only put this card in because I saw it in every single Mermail list that I looked online, and I had 13 cards in my extra. So I just had 2 empty slots, and I was like, you know what, maybe it'll come up. I think the reason why you play this card is if you have the turtle and your opponent passes turn back to you, you can link off the turtle to go into this to then continue making more pushes to kill them, right? But I never got in a situation where I needed it. More times than not, I either just already won the game or I just already had damage on the board. So maybe through more testing, I'll see the value in it. But for now, these 3 is all I really needed. Abyss Glacier was a card that not a lot of people really expected. I mean, Neptibus or Mermails isn't a deck a lot of people expect, but this card allows for a lot of utility. Just being able to discard an infantry and kind of layer your Poseidon on their turn is really good. For the synchros, we play the 2 white auras, the Monocerosaurus and the Porpoise. Both are kind of used in the combo. Porpoise was also a last minute addition. I never summoned it. I don't know if I need it, so maybe I'll take it out. Monocerosaurus is very critical. Being able to kind of just cycle waters, bringing them back was very, very strong. Then for the rest of the combo, we got the Donna, summon out the turtle, pretty basic. And then the rest of the synchros here, we got Dragite, Trish, the Croc, and then maybe the MVP in the extra deck, the Changing. So these are all kind of self-explanatory. Sometimes you end on Dragite, sometimes you don't, because the way I play the deck without Botanicul or without Butterfly, you don't really make this consistently. You make this consistently. So being able to stack your deck with Minstrel, draw into like a Dragoons or an Infantry, and have an additional pop, so you have 2 pops plus an Abyss Giles plus an untargetable turtle, was really strong. Trishula was to play around Droll, still being able to banish a card, and it's just a really good board breaker. But Changing single-handedly won me a match against Lunalight. I don't know how. I think I blacked out during this match, but somehow I beat Game 1 a Liger Dancer Baguska, and then Game 2 I beat double Liger Dancer and Baguska with just this card. Being able to protect itself, being able to abuse them banishing to summon, plus you banish with your own deck, right? You banish with Ryan, sometimes with Trish. Eventually I got this Changing to I think the highest I got was 4,800 attack, and he just couldn't deal with it. I think there are outs in Lunalight, but I think just whatever happened in that match happened, and this managed to like pull through. So Changing was MVP of the day for just that reason alone. And yeah, this extra deck felt great. Everything was really powerful, and just a lot of things that my opponents didn't really expect. Going on to the side deck, finally get to play the Deep Sea Diva. I miss playing this card. One of my favorite OG Mermail cards of all time. You mainly cite it for going first as well as Minstrel. I don't cite 2 Minstrel because, again, I hate this card. It's a hate-hate relationship, and it is still a brick. But just having the 2, so sometimes you hard draw it is really good, but not overdrawing it is wonderful. The rest of the monsters here is just a Poseidon for going second. I main 2, don't main the 3rd, so citing the 3rd is great. And then Droll. Again, I kind of want to put these in the main deck. I know it's not great against all matchups, but Droll is still Droll, and it can end games against certain decks. Lastly, Crossout and Called By. So I'm only really playing 4 cards when I'm going first. The rest of the side deck is purely for going second. There are some other additions I can put in, but since I am playing almost all like the generically good hand traps, Crossout is always great. Shout out to Grant for this idea. I've never played with Crossout before in my entire Yu-Gi-Oh playtime, so it was really cool activating this and resolving it. I did have to read my own Crossout while I was playing one time just to figure out how to properly resolve it because I was so unfamiliar with it, so that was a little funny. And then yeah, Called By is Called By. If I draw Called By, I'm winning that game. And then the rest of the spells, we got 2 Forbidden Droplet, 1 Duster, and then 2 Storm. So just some breakers. Droplet is really broken. I think I might try to see if I can fit in a 3rd Droplet. I'm not sure how consistent that will be, but it's just one of the best breakers in the entire game. It's also one of the only breakers that people have against my deck. Since Turtle is untargetable and you can't run it over, you can't really do anything to interact with it, Droplet just ignores all of that. So if your opponent has a Droplet and you're playing Mermail, it's a little rough, but you still have other pieces of interaction to play through it. But against my opponents, the Duster and the Storms came in clutch. These are really good breakers, in addition to the last card in my side deck, the 3 Evenly match. I was kind of trying to figure out what the best things are to side, and breakers just seem so strong. If I can either get rid of an opponent's Omni Negate or some piece of interaction, or just wipe half their board, I can deal with the rest of it and kind of just end the game on the spot. So these felt really great. I don't know if I'll change much about the side deck, but again, that'll come with some testing. So we'll figure that out when we get to that point. Yeah, that's the deck.
All right. Do you feel like in today's meta game, like you had any problems dealing with like Yummy or Draco Tail or any other like tier 1 or even tier 2 options that like people would consider above Mermail?
Yeah, I'm not too sure with you. I will say when I was at the event, a lot of the times where I did lose was either like one match that I lost against Cool Tune, and that was kind of just because I drew like suboptimal hands, couldn't really play through one piece of interaction, and that was pretty much it. So this deck is very consistent, but you can't always be consistent, so you kind of have to account for those possibilities. I know against the second match that I lost, it was I think a Yummy Azumina Fiendsmith slop deck. And against that deck, he just had all the answers that he needed when he needed them. And sometimes it's just certain players day, and things happen. So again, not too upset about that. I've drawn called by 3 times in one match too. So, you know, it happens to the best of us. But everything else played really well. I think this deck plays very, very strong into a lot of different matchups, especially like Dracotel or Branded or just a lot of the other just slop decks that kind of go around. Shout out to Grant.
2 shoutouts.
2 shoutouts. But yeah, just general slop is just something that this deck can have a problem dealing with. But since I am playing, I think, I want to say like 15 hand traps or something of that nature, I always had something that I can do going second. And Mermail, in its essence, is just mechanically a going second deck, even though it has a lot of options going first. So yeah, honestly, with more practice and more time put in the game before Vegas, I can tell you that answer better. But for now, things performed really well.
All right. Any more shout outs you want to give out?
Yeah, of course. Shout out to Alan behind the camera, the VIP qualifying teammate. We got the 3v3 win just about 2 weeks ago, so that was really great. That was great practice for today. Shout out Grant again, the other teammate for the 3v3. And then shout out to the rest of the Resurgence guys. We got Nico, Austin, Sunny, Caleb, as well as Kyle that helped me borrow a lot of the cards that I needed. I kind of submitted a TCG order about 2 months ago that still hasn't arrived, so he came in clutch and gave me some of the cards that I wanted. So thankfully I was able to play this deck and actually do a little bit of testing. And yeah.
All right.
That's that.
Thank you so much, Sarkis. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and hopefully we will be more consistent posting. All right. Peace out.
Of course.